Located in northeastern France, 155 miles from Paris, Vauquois, by 1913, was a quiet agricultural village, known mostly for its natural spring, considered sacred by the pilgrims who visited each year. But this rural village of around 170 inhabitants would soon become the scene of a new kind of warfare in the First World War. What makes the 4 years of fighting from 1914 to 1918 at Vauquois stand out is not its trench warfare or street fighting, or the number of lives lost there, but that this small hilltop village became the site of extensive and ongoing tunnel warfare. From the winter of 1915, miners from both nations tunneled and dug through the silicious rock known as Gez Argonne, as they built shelters and large connecting rooms called galleries, as well as attack tunnels toward and under the enemy lines. Living conditions were exceptionally difficult. Vermin such as rodents, fleas, and lice aggravated the men continuously. Poor air quality and the risk of death due to cave-ins was ever present. The miners also lived in constant fear of attack by enemy tunneling toward their living quarters or logistics facilities. The work of the miners, armed with picks and hammers, was slow and arduous. This work was made more dangerous by the fact that the enemy was always listening and attempting to locate and destroy one another's tunnels by countermine. During their extended time underground, they decorated their confined living spaces with graffiti and engravings. They carved symbols of faith and loyalty, even images of feared enemy commanders, into the stone. Such work shows that these tunnels were not just an area where people were passing through, but actual areas where individuals lived and worked for weeks at a time before being rotated out. In response to the ever-present fear of attack by countermine, both the Germans and French employed increasingly sophisticated methods of detection of enemy activity. A simple pan of water, whose ripples would indicate enemy activity, would soon be replaced by the geophone, which was essentially a stethoscope that could detect even the faintest sounds of excavation. The geophone became an essential tool to know where the enemy was and what he was doing. During the Christmas of 1916, upon detecting one another's proximity in the mines, German and French miners sang to one another through earth that lie between them. One New Year's Eve, most likely 1917, both sides celebrated. As one soldier recalled,
"At midnight, in the surrounding villages, every bell in the churches rang out. To the surprise of the men stationed in Vauquois at the swinging, the village bell joined in, despite being buried for quite some time. This moving music touched the hearts of the men in the trenches and paralyzed them.
To this day, only a fraction of the mines at Vauquois have been reopened, and many men are still buried under the hill, along with unexploded ordnance in the mines. The enormous craters that 100 years on still shock in their depth and breadth leave a visible reminder of the massive scale of the fighting in the Great War.